just want to take I just want to take a video of the thing that completely captured my attention for like 2 weeks after my birthday. I didn't even manage to make a birthday post for myself. Okay, so what I did with this is what I did, which is basically, as you can see here, a 4 directional piece of cloth. I'm gonna make this into like squares of 4 squares, and overlay them probably in a diagonal shape. I'm not quite sure. Probably going to be a blanket or something. I'm not quite sure. So the thing that I really liked about this, let me just talk about it a little bit, is a couple of things. Number one, it's my own design. I mean, yes, the herringbone stitches, of course, you can find it a lot on YouTube or elsewhere. There's a lot of references to make them, but I figured out a way to do an edging that would make me happy. And also figured out, that's why it took me about 2 weeks, just because I had to do this manually, because I couldn't quite imagine it spatially in my head. I'm not very good at that spatial design. And also, I think it's from this yarn. These two are from the ones that I dyed myself. So these are the two handspun that I did that I dyed myself. I should take better notes. I keep saying this, I know, but this is these are both 3-plies, and pretty sure they're both chain-plied to be 3-plies. Chain-ply, or usually also known as the Navajo ply. So I'm gonna be taking my time listening to a podcast, knitting this while I maybe do a background commentary. We'll see. So, but what I like about how this showed up was because, if I'm not mistaken, the yarns that I dyed were made up of 3 different types of fiber. So there was Angora rabbit, merino wool, and silk. So all 3 are protein fibers, animal fibers, but they all have different characteristics. And that characteristic does show up in how they respectively interact or take up the dye. And the dye is a reactive dye. From the many shops you can find on Shopee, that's mainly there to serve batik suppliers. So the thing that's like quite frustrating for me personally, of course, is that I learned my trade in a very geeky, Western geeky, very scientific kind of way. So, and because it is prohibitively expensive to buy from the stuff that wool crafters would use, because of where I live, knowing that reactive dyes would be perfect, would also be suitable for animal fiber yarns, was in general, learning about that in general was like, a great thing to learn. But unfortunately, they sell them because they basically buy them by the buck, by like, the tons, I suppose, by the caseloads. I don't know what cases they come in, and then they repackage it and sell it on Shopee. So I know that these are chemical reactive dyes. I know most of them are German branded ones. I don't know what brand. I don't know which line. So I was basically I had to wing it, because I can't refer to the manufacturer's own notes, which these days you can find online. But it worked out. So far, it's color fast. No real bleeding even when you soak it in water after you've done finishing it so far. So that's great. Okay, so this is how it looks. It looks pretty good. I might use all that commentary for the background later. Okay, so now I'm just gonna start taping. Okay. Okay, So in my case, I did 30 stitches by 15. Essentially, the stitches being knitting stitches, even with slip stitches, are taller than they are wider. So every time I cast on 30 stitches, the height to make it this width is about 15. So I have to halve it. So what I did was that you'll see I basically cast on the edgings already to be picked up later, so it looks much more neater and also easier to pick up stitches later at some point. If I'll make a video of that, we'll see. If not, you just have to take my word for it. So now I'm just casting on 30 stitches by 30 stitches by 30 stitches, so three-sided. And I use a crochet cast on. Oh god. So I'm gonna be casting this on 30 stitches by 30 stitches by 30 stitches, so it's gonna be three-sided, and I'll do a crochet cast on. That's the nicest one with the edging that I found for this. Oh, hold on, sorry. Let me just move the camera a bit. Okay. Doing the slip stitch. And doing the crochet cast on. Okay, this is gonna look very clumsy trying to do this on camera. Here we go. Oh, let me do it from the start and I won't narrate anything. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then I'll do an extra stitch for the corners. And then start again, another 30 stitches. It's always so awkward trying to cast on and then doing this for recording. Oh god, how do these other channels do it? Okay. Pause. Oh, count again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Wait, hold on. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. Another extra chain stitch for the corner. Okay, another 30. Six, 8, 2, 4, 6. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 2, 6, 8. Okay, so then this stitch will be knitted together with this one, so that will be up to here. I'm basically going to start the slip stitch row already, the first row for the herringbone stitch, which is the knitted slip stitch. Okay, this is gonna be tricky. And it's always gonna be a bit hard, especially for the first row. I hate that for me. Here we go. Oh yeah, I forgot to explain. So what's going to happen is that I just said I'm gonna do the knitted row for the herringbone stitch. So you saw already I'm already doing the slip stitches. So what will happen here, how I design, I guess, how I design these edging stitches is that they're also 30 stitches just like this one, but like I said, it's twice as tall as its width. So what happens is that every completed pass of both the knitted and the purled slip stitches each will respectively take 3 stitches from each side. And how I always keep it to track, because I'm not really good in tracking count, is to visually decide what's happening. So the whatever side facing me, I always pick up 1 stitch, 2 stitch, because here will always be, anyway, in a typical herringbone stitch, the first 2 stitches needs to be picked up anyway to have one of them slipped. So whenever I forget, it's always going to be 3 stitches on the needle. So when you do that in a typical herringbone stitch, when you get to the final stitch, there will always be 1 stitch hanging that you need to, like, knit or purl before moving to the next row. In this one, I basically knit or purl them but before doing that, picking up 2 more stitches on this side. So that's how it becomes. So that's how I've designed the edging, and I'll show you once I get there. Okay, so we're gonna get to the end till here. So that's the 1 stitch from the edging, and I can double confirm with counting it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so what I've decided to do for this first row will be, I'm just picking up, and I'll show you that's how I'm gonna do this. Take 1 stitch, always on the right, take 1 stitch, slip the 2 stitches as planned, and then there you have it, and then you keep going. Okay, see you. All right, so getting to the end here, so I'll show you. Oh, that's one of my gats, if you can see it. Oh gosh, cast on rows are always so hard. Okay, so the final 2 stitches, you do the usual slip slip knit, then take up this one, so there's 1 stitch on the needle. So then you take up 2, so it's always going to be 3 on the needle, like I said, at the edges. Pick up, and of course not pick up any of these stitches. So we still got that one stitch, and then of course I have to check 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, perfect. So then when we turn to the purl slip stitches row, now this is the right side, so you just pick up, or at least I pick up, one stitch. Ugh. Okay. Okay. Oh god, this is gonna be so hard to show. Pick up, go through with one stitch on the needle. So now this is the purl stitch row. Okay, gonna keep going, hold on. All right, back the edges so we can see how painstakingly I do the first 2 rows. Not very fast at all, but at least I hope it's neat. Wait. And to double check whether I've not gone over my row. The first 2 rows are always so tricky in trying to tell which one is the main row and which one is the edging row. And sometimes my stitches are too tight. God dang. Okay, let me see. So for the edging row, they should be 29 stitches left. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Okay, so I'm on the right track. Yes, I am. Okay. Do that. So now this should be the last stitch on the main row. Pick up 2 stitches from the edging row, so there's going to be 3 stitches on a needle altogether. Doing this just for illustration because they should have been on the left needle regardless, since this is a purl. Okay, we need to pick up any stitches just left. Double check, because sometimes it happens I accidentally ended a stitch somehow. It happens. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, so far so good. So now we turn back. The third row is basically a repeat of the first row, which is the slip stitch for the knitted row. So again, I should be picking up 1 stitch from here, but I need to pick these 2 first, get them oriented correctly. The front post back. Okay, so now 3 stitches to be knitted from the back. And pick up the stitch. Alright, so that's picked up this edge again. And then continue on. I don't know if I know how to edit this video. I don't know if I want to edit this video. Okay. Okay. Row 3 almost finished. And then I forgot to take a video, so I had to put back the stitches so I don't need to pick up these stitches because they're oriented correctly anyway. They're already oriented in the right direction. Okay, so 1 stitch left. As usual, that means I'm picking up 2 stitches from the left edging stitches. Okay, just like that. And turn. Okay. 3 stitches just now. 1 left on the needle. For the pearl stitches with yarn in front, you don't need to slip because they're in the direction that was already there. At least that's how I remember it. If not, then I guess I accidentally cast a variation. Oops. But I think it's fine. Yeah, there was no slip knit. If you look, there's nothing overtly bad with how the orientation of the stitches in the end. So I think it's fine. Yeah. Maybe for one of the other squares I'll do it that way. But I don't think so because it would have like completely, no, don't do it. I was just trying to do it and I realized no, if I slip, the post orientation for the stitches will make it unbelievably difficult to pick them up. So clearly I don't have to do it. So I'm not making a mistake. I'm not making a mistake. Yay. Okay. Alright, approaching the end of the 4th row, just a purl row. So as I go on with this, it will get obviously visually much more easy much more easy. What am I saying? Easier, much easier to figure out where is the end of the main row and when should I start picking up rows from the next stitches as they are the edging stitches. Okay, so 1 stitch left. Pick up the other 2 because these are pearls. I don't really have to pick up them into the right needle and then put them back into the left needle unless they're difficult. It's been known to happen. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Oh, there it is. I like using bamboo needles for this reason. These are incredibly from Shopee, i.e. from China. Incredibly to me because usually back in the day of like maybe a year or 2 ago, it wasn't easy to find knitting and crocheting supplies, actually, hilariously enough. Now it's even, I just saw a listing for drop spindles. Couldn't find spinning materials via Shopee or Lazada for love or money for years. Maybe it's me. Maybe because of my search terms. Haha. Okay, so now we're at the 5th row. So 5th row is back to the knitting. So pick up stitches, put them back on the left needle plus 1 stitch from the edging. Okay, sometimes it just doesn't happen as smoothly as you like. Okay, drop them off except for 1 stitch left on the needle. Pick up, knit from the back, slip, knit from the back, and so on. So I'm gonna like end here, and basically what happens is I'll show you on the finished product. You're beginning to see the shape of the you're beginning to see the shape of the three-sided square. Yeah, the shape of the three-sided square. Okay, so how it works is eventually the most frustrating thing so far with this technique that I found is that the right side is incredibly messy. Which one is the right side? No matter what I do, the right side border, this one, during the knitting, will be like a mess. And I still can't figure it out. And that's also why it took me, here we go. That's also why it took me like another week of figuring out before like giving up and saying, you know what, it's fine. These are surmountable problems. So, but the ones on the left will always look very neat. How frustrating, but convenient for me regardless. Because why? Cast on, I think this is actually the cast on row. Okay, the first square. Cast on, knit, 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 knit. This will be like live stitches. Okay, that's now the left edging stitches. Cast on 20 stitches. Depending on how I decide to do it. But anyway, do. Live stitches. Now is the left edge stitches. Cast on another 20 left stitches. And then you get to here, which is then it's going to be interesting because the choice is these live stitches for the final fourth square. Either it becomes an edging stitch or the main row stitch. Okay, I'm using the wrong square to illustrate this, so I'm a moron. Okay, hold on. One. Okay, this one, this one, this one, and yeah, and this one. So I chose instead to maintain that these are going to be the edging stitches, but I need to pick up these stitches, and then no, I pick up here. I pick up on the side. This becomes the main row stitches. Instead of left edging stitches, it becomes the right edge stitches, and exposing this stitch, and that's why it looks janky. I might have to change orientation for as I do the next block. So it should be okay. So this is the note to myself. Feel free to stop watching. This is just for myself. Okay, so cast on left edging row, cast on 20, left edging row, cast on 20, left edging row, cast on 20 anyway, knit, 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 knit. So join either by join by either with a crochet hook or with a needle. All right, done. And that's it. And that's it. Because I think that will also solve my problem with the fact that inevitably I will have one side with a really messy looking edge, which I dislike a lot compared to like this, which looks so naturally beautiful. Okay, so that's how it is. This is why I was obsessed for 2 weeks and barely did anything for myself other than knitting. Horrendous. Okay. Alright, there you go. And why I chose to do it this way was because the tension, you know, as you do your knitting, of course, it will like weigh down naturally. So I thought if I distribute it along the 4 compass directions, you'll at least have something that is like fairly evenly spread in terms of the tensioning. And then later on, when I need to wet finish and the piece, the upkeep down the line after that won't be so difficult. So that's my plan. But who knows? We'll see. In the meantime, I do have to spin more yarn. I've taken photos, but I'll just cap it with how it looks in motion. This is my plying spindle, so I am chain plying these. It will look like this. Oh no, it always unravels at the end. Oopsie whoopsie. So this is one of them, ready to be wet finished. Okay, and then of course right now I am currently spinning. Oh god, the spindle is too far away. Okay, the spindle was too far away, so I had to pause. Okay, and this is the one I'm spinning right now. Usually I do it on a Russian spindle, but this time around I've decided to change it up. The thing with this particular fiber, sorry. The thing with this particular fiber, which is from a New Zealand shop, which is a New Zealand shop currently on Christmas holiday. Number one, it's a limited run. I'm so sad. I won't have any more of this particular colorway. It's called the Age of Elizabeth, I think. Yeah. Elizabethan era fantasies. Regardless, this is a 50-50 mix silk and haunui fine grade. Haunui is a local New Zealand breed that's a cross between, I think, a long wool. I'm not sure. I think it's a Lincoln and a Merino, or is it a Polworth and a Merino? I'm not quite sure, but I know it's a cross. So it's very fine, but and also very long. This particular blend, and I find with fine long wools, doing them by drop spindling just goes a lot faster than the Russian spindle, which is just much more optimized for fine fiber with shorter staple, like your merinos and your angoras, which I have to get back into if I want to keep dyeing fresh ones in this colorway. But I might be changing it. The whole point about like doing this whole stupid thing is to use up my scraps and also to kind of do a patchworky kind of piece, whatever that is. A cape, a blanket, a scarf, I don't know yet. A coat even, who knows. Okay, that's it. Bye, for real.